Hey guys, I'm Chris and welcome to Almost Legit Garage. So I am extremely excited to finally be sharing this with you guys because this has been one of my longest running projects around here. And you've probably seen it in the background if you're paying attention. But anyways, let's... there it is. That is my old motorcycle. So let's turn the camera around and I will show you about it. So this is my 04 YZF600r. If you guys are familiar with this bike, it's kind of the tame, average, everyday, non-race version of an R6. Not version, brother, more or less. But anyways, these are great sport bikes for people who just want to, commute around, take turns at a decent rate and not be boring. But they also don't want their butt to be 8 feet in the air and your knees bent to a point that you're cutting off circulation to your feet while you're doing it. So these are great bikes. I really enjoyed this bike. This is actually my first street bike. But you might notice, besides some mismatched paints and plastics and the missing handles on the back, that this bike has something a little bit special about it. And I'm sure you guys have seen from the title, but we're going to walk through it and pretend you guys don't. So we sit on the bike, and first thing we notice, there's a little something extra there next to the tachometer. And then we come up here, and I still have a choke, but this isn't a choke anymore. This is actually a idle control valve. So you can turn up the idle RPM right there. Kind of weird. Turn it on. Wait a second, that's not what the fuel pump normally sounds like. That's because this has a high pressure fuel pump in it because it is fuel injected. So my main complaint with this motorcycle pretty much the entire time I had it and was riding it regularly was the carburetors just kind of suck. Now, if you've had much experience with carburetors, they tend to not do well with changes in temperature and humidity and that kind of stuff. And then you're always choking the heck out of it when you start it up, and it kind of revs high for the first 4 or 5 minutes while you're sitting on it. And that's not exactly fun. People look at you like, why the hell are you revving that thing to 6,000 RPM just sitting there? I have to. It's got a carburetor. It's got to warm up. So to remedy that, I created this thing. Now, it's not completely done. I still am working on the tune for it. But I've been able to ride it around and enjoy it and almost use it as a daily motorcycle. So it's been great. So we're going to stop this clip and start talking about what it took to make this. All right, so in place of the factory ignition module, we now have a micro squirt ECU. So that's a mega squirt if you kind of are familiar with the brand, but it's a cheap, kind of more of a attainable ECU. It's a $300 ECU, and it's able to control this bike and do a pretty darn good job of it. So that's how we were able to control our fuel injectors, which go into our throttle bodies, which are from a 04 R6, 03 to 05, and then the R6S. They should all be about the same. But that's what we're using for that. And it does a great job. Inside the tank, we have a R1 fuel pump. Now, I don't think there's any real merit to having an R1 fuel pump over an R6 fuel pump, but it was available and cost effective. So I sank that right into the bottom of the tank, as you guys will see in future videos. I'm going to make a whole series on how you can make your own bike like this. I figured it would probably be something you guys would be interested in. Like I said, the Thundercat riders, which is the European name for the YZF600r, they love these bikes, and I completely agree they're great bikes. But anyways, back to the point. So as you guys saw in the dash, that little readout is for an Innovate LC2 wideband O2 sensor, which I have welded into the original exhaust. And that feeds data back to the ECU. And I was able to detach the screen, move it in, and then put the circuit board behind it. So it's actually a pretty cool setup if you guys want to do something similar. So the next thing you kind of really need on one of these bikes is a crank input. So I was able to bolt a custom-made reluctor wheel that I had water jet cut to the back of the flywheel, and then I tapped in a little Hall effect sensor in there, so we have our crank signal, and that does a great job also. So really everything's kind of coming together pretty well. The only thing I'm really missing at this point is a low fuel light, and we will probably explore how to get that working in a future video. But anyways, this is just kind of to show you guys a little overview of, you know, kind of what it takes to do this. So if you wanted to, you can kind of put together a budget and see if it makes sense to you. These bikes can be cheap at certain times of the year, but they also can be pretty, you know, maintain their value pretty well. So this one, several, you know, this had 2-time salvage title and beat up paint and all that stuff. So it really wasn't worth selling this and then buying an R6. But I just honestly ended up buying an R6 anyways, because I spent so long working on this. I wanted to have something to ride, and I enjoy both bikes for entirely different reasons. But anyways, I figured I'd give you guys a quick startup and show you that it works. So it starts up and idles pretty much like a normal bike. Sorry it's really loud, I bought a cheap muffler. But it starts up, idles like a normal bike. Here in a second you'll see the air-fuel ratio gauge kick in. A few more seconds. I won't kill myself in the garage before then. Let's see, we got a nice, good air-fuel ratio to start with. And it works. I mean, it's a normal bike for the most part. And so I figured, you know, I'd share with you guys, and you can watch the entire build series. Just subscribe to the channel and watch for more content. And I know I'll be working on my GTI and my other stuff too. So if you just want to see the Thundercat videos, well, just wait for the Thundercat videos. But give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and show support, and let me know how much you want me to finish this to help keep me motivated. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. See you later.